So first of all, let's talk about common misconceptions about attraction, what people think. First of all, people think it's all about looks, right? Accurate, inaccurate. Well, do looks matter in attraction? Yeah. Yes. Anybody who thinks no? Good. Looks do matter. They matter a bit, but they don't matter nearly as much as you might think, all right? They don't matter nearly as much as like a Calvin Klein ad would have you believe, okay? They do matter, and actually they matter more indirectly. They matter more because people who look a certain way tend to have certain life experiences, which lead to different differences in how they carry themselves, differences in their confidence, things like that. Although looks do matter a bit because they're an indicator of health. Okay. Next, how many people know this word supplication? Who knows this word? Okay, this is a very old school pickup word. Supplication basically means trying to do nice things for the girl in order to make her like you. Okay? That's what supplication is. So for example, if you send flowers to a girl you don't know and she doesn't know your name, you are supplicating. You are trying to bribe her into liking you without knowing you. If you walk up to the girl, and not to say, by the way, that buying girls drinks is wrong, because buying girls drinks is very, very effective at certain points in the interaction. But if you walk up to a girl and your opener is, let me buy you a drink so you feel obligated to talk to me, that's supplicating. Okay, that's trying to buy her affection for the price of a drink, right? Those types of things. Other forms of supplication is if the girl says she's into rock music and all of a sudden you're the biggest rock fan in the world. That's supplicating, okay? And it makes sense on a certain level. You know, you're trying to be nice to someone. People would like it when someone is nice to them. The problem with supplication is this. If you are supplicating, you're indicating low social value. Right? Someone who has an abundance of women, someone who has a lot of women attracted to him, someone who is very secure and firm in who he is as a man, probably isn't going to change his identity for every single girl that comes along. So even though you're doing something nice for the girl, you are doing it in a way that's making you look low value. Also, it's oftentimes perceived of as having an agenda. It's very transparent when I'm doing something nice to get a result. Right? There's a difference between I'm doing something nice out of the goodness of my heart versus I'm doing something nice for an outcome. Doing something nice for an outcome is almost always universally despised. Next is the resume. And again, we have one that kind of works and kind of doesn't. Right? Do you think girls are more attracted to someone with like a stable job, income, like a nice apartment, or a homeless person? Obviously the homeless person. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously the person with a nice job, all that kind of stuff, right? However, it's not all about that, right? That's a factor. It's an indicator of success in various areas, but it's not the whole deal. And the reason why that one falls short is that the resume is a logical construct, right? It's based on facts in the year 2017. It's not based on what emotionally impacts a girl, 1,000 years ago. Right? And we evolved our instincts for sex over thousands and thousands of years. So what makes sense in 2017 isn't always exactly what works on that level. The next is being friends first. Right? I see people like shaking their head and scoffing. Okay. It could work in theory. The problem with this, and there's actually nothing wrong. Like being friends with a girl technically makes you closer, makes you know the girl better, and gives you a window and an avenue into her life. Right? The problem is there's probably a reason you ended up as friends in the first place when you met her, as opposed to as a sexual opportunity. Right? So meeting through a friend of a friend is useful. Becoming her friend rather than someone she's attracted to will not help you to flip the script and become someone she's attracted to later. And in fact, a lot of guys, as a kind of a form of supplication, it's supplication by becoming her friend. Right? I became her friend to be nice to her, and then later on I spring it like a year later, hey, by the way, I have a penis. Right? That's a little creepy. All right?
Like, so do I. He's over here.
That's very good. That's very good. So there's actually being introduced through friends or being having good recommendation from friends or being in the same social circle is helpful. But having spent the time and established a friend relationship oftentimes just cements the precedent that it's a non-sexual relationship. So the friends first thing, a little bit of truth there, but not in the way most people use it. And the last is the idea of commonalities and compatibility. And commonalities and compatibility are helpful in having girls become your girlfriends. They're helpful in keeping girls around, but they really don't do a lot for attraction. They do a lot for comfort, right? The girl will care a lot if a guy has things in common with her if she likes him already. Right? If she happens to already be attracted to a guy and then you have something in common, the girl will absolutely love that. But if the guy is kind of like unattractive and a bit of a loser, the commonalities, the girl will, if anything, shy away. She'll be like, I don't want to be like that guy anyway, right? So that helps you at a later stage, but it has nothing to actually do with attraction, all right? So those are a lot of the misconceptions. How many of you guys have seen those in media, in movies, in your life, those kind of things? Right? Okay, cool. Huh? Used to believe that? Yeah, I used to believe that too. Yeah, I grew up for the first probably 17 years of my life believing that, and it messed me up and kept me from actually getting with girls, right? Because if you're trying to do all those things, you're putting a lot of time and effort into a lot of things that are not actually effective, and not putting time and effort into the things that are. By the way, it's not to say that these are completely ineffective or completely wrong. That's the problem with them, is they're a little bit right? It's all looks. Looks do matter a little bit. Supplication, if the girl already loved you and thought you were out of her league, she would love it if you supplicated to her. But unless that was already the case, it wouldn't do it for her, right? The resume means a little bit. Friends first, being in the same social circle helps. And the commonalities, it does help, but it has nothing to do with attraction. It has to do with like things that happen later on in the relationship.